And welcome to the B. Andrews Radio Show. This is the July 11th edition. I believe today is July 11th, right? All day long?
All day long.
All right. And so you're listening to the B. Andrews Radio Show, coming to you from the heated valley of the central Wisconsin area. I think we're part of the Fox Valley. I'm not sure. Is this the Fox Valley region? You don't know. You're not into geography. Anyway, coming to you from central Wisconsin, and it is a nice, lovely, warm, and hot day today. We are experiencing the hot and humid, which doesn't happen very often here in Wisconsin, but we're getting it today. I think today's high temperature is going to be 84, 82, 84, and we're running right around 72, 75% humidity. Now, before you folks down in North Carolina and Florida and central South Deltas down there in Mississippi, Alabama, before you, Georgia, oh, can you imagine what Georgia's like today? Good Lord, it's hot down in Georgia. And before you guys tell us that that's not hot, we truly understand. Compared to you, it is not hot here. But compared to Wisconsin on a beautiful summer day, today is a little uncomfortable.
It should also be noted that I don't have central air or a fan in the studio.
Yes. So
it's kind of like
stale. It's just stale. The air is not moving in this room. So we're coming to you. You're listening to the B. Andrews Radio Show. I'm one of your co-hosts, Eric Hambrock, member of the B. Andrews Band. On the other side of the room is the other co-host, John Hambrock, the other member of the B. Andrews Band. Say hey, John.
Hey.
Having a good day over there?
Hey. You know you make me want to shout, throw my hands up and shout. Anyway.
Yeah, okay. It's a good day.
It's a good day.
It's hot.
In the mid-70s. No, it's hotter than that.
Because it's summertime, summertime. I'm sorry. Yeah, it was a throwback. I'm sorry. You're looking at me.
You should definitely throw it back.
Anyways, we're having a good time here. We're in fact, today we're going to talk a little bit about that summertime kind of stuff. That's where we want to go with today's show.
Yeah. I hate that song.
Yeah, I know. You should have gone for the Kenny Chesney version.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
Well, it's not a, yeah.
And a yoo-hoo rolling on the floorboard.
Yeah.
By the way, who wants to junk up their car like that anyway? I mean, yoo-hoo bottles rolling around on a floorboard, that is, you know what I would say on a band trip? It's like, get your junk out of the vehicle.
I don't think those were yoo-hoo battles. I think you just yoo-hoo, bottles on the floorboard.
I know.
You definitely went to like the PG version. Not even PG, that's like G.
Well, that's what he says in the song.
It's like rated E for everyone. I mean, wow.
Yeah, in our vehicle though, it's water bottles rolling around on the floorboard.
Yeah, and they crunch like.
Yeah, they do because they're plastic.
Because they're empty. Yeah.
Oh man. Anyway, but it's summertime. We do digress, and we do enjoy summer around here. You know, last year summer was a little short. I think it came in on a Tuesday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And left on a Thursday.
Yep.
I might have been in the same week. I can't remember.
It's pretty close. That's what it feels like.
But we want to talk today a little bit about what do you do during the summertime. You have the usual. In fact, the fam where I'm at has been talking about wanting to get out and go camping. We want to kind of do the camping thing and love doing that, getting to God's great creation into the outdoors. And we really do enjoy going camping. And if you go camping around here, you want to go camping on a lake because you want to take that rod and reel with you so you can throw that baby in and hook you a bass or which is okay if you're into that kind of thing. But around here, tell me, John, what do you fish for around here?
Actually, I fish for bass.
Okay, that's totally...
Sorry, I'm sorry.
You just killed my setup, man.
I know. You're all like, set up, and I was like, no, it's all right.
This is Wisconsin, okay? If you go to fish for bass, go down south of the Mason-Dixon line.
You fish for muskie.
You fish for muskie, that's right. Or northern, okay? That's what you do up here.
I talked to someone from down south the other day that didn't know what a muskie was.
See? their life is totally sheltered. Totally sheltered. If you don't fish for a muskie, if you don't know what a Great Northern is and you don't fish for that, then, oh, by the way, statistic, somebody told you how many casts does it take before somebody usually catches a Great Northern? Was it a Northern or was it a muskie?
I think it was something like 50, like an average of 50 casts before you get a bite.
Before you get a bite, okay?
I mean, there's like a... I don't remember. That's been a while since I've seen that.
And that came to you from somebody who lived in Hayward, Wisconsin, which happens to be muskie capital.
Capital of the world, yeah.
Yep.
The biggest muskie are there.
Yeah, we have seen the top 3. They are in the restaurants, and they are mounted.
Yeah.
Number 1 and 3 is in one, and number 2 is in another, which is contested to actually be number 1. If you remember the story.
Well, the one was destroyed in a fire.
Oh, that's the one. That's the one.
Which is the other. Which is the part of the what do you say? Scandal about it. Ooh.
Yes, it was burned up in a fire. If you ever get a chance to get up to Hayward, the gateway, the main road going into town, has a giant muskie sitting out there beside the river. It's so big you can actually go in it, climb up the steps, come out its mouth.
You know how your fishing lure feels.
You mean your bait. And overlooks the river. The only reason why we know that, took the youth group up there one summer and went canoeing, a summertime thing to do.
That was a lot of fun.
And we came, the Namagogan, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
Is the name of the river. We came down the river and you had to go right past the front of this giant muskie, which later on we went and got up and
I think I spent just as much time in the river as I did in the canoe on that trip.
I would suspect that you did. Hey, you think that might be something we can get this youth group to go and do?
That'd be a lot of fun. We like our youth pastors here. That's one of the other things we do, and he wants to know. Yeah, that'd be fun to do with the youth group.
Do you really think we can get them to go though?
I don't know. It might take some convincing. I don't think any stories that I could tell would help.
It's one thing.
I had a blast, but when you're like, well, be careful about who you pick to be your canoe partner. They may just throw you out the boat.
Which was one of I was the youth pastor at the time, and I intentionally set up who was what pair and what canoe because I wanted them to learn how to work together. And then on the last day, they got to choose their own partner. So, yeah. So canoeing, one of those things that you could do in the summertime, just a little thing to throw out there, and pick and choose your lakes and your rivers wisely. It's different canoeing on a lake than it is canoeing on a river. Little things like that you want to remember. You got a story from when I took you canoeing?
Well, it's like when I was knocked me out the boat. He's kind of being a jerk. So I'm like, hey, man, and I should have known. Like, I should have known this would happen. I was like, hey, man, hold the boat still. I should have never trusted him. And, like, when I had to ask that, like, hold the boat still. And I stood up.
Ding! Light bulb went off in his head.
And he used the paddle and smacked the bottom of the creek. And I fell out. And it was really shallow. If I wasn't wearing a life vest, I would have smacked my face on the bottom. Ooh. Like, the surface tension caught the life vest and was just enough to keep me from, bashing my face against these rocks.
Yeah.
Nice guy.
So what I remember, though, is I put one adult in front of everybody, and I was the adult in the canoe behind everybody so that nobody got, all the teens had to stay between us. And as we're going down, and I am watching you in your boat, and you guys are paddling so hard that when you're picking up your oar, I remember this as plain as day, you're picking up your oar, and you are just flooding the boat with water. And the guy in the back, instead of him paddling, was taking his paddle and was trying to get it out as fast as you were throwing it in the boat.
Stroke, bail, stroke, bail.
And it was, but what was killing me is you guys were going down the river just doing fine, and you were concentrating on getting where you were going, and the other dude was concentrating on getting the water out of the boat. So
fun stuff.
Yeah, good times, Trevor. Just had to say that. Yeah. Anyway, so in thinking about stuff that we like to do for summer, I wondered what would people in other places, comparing us to other places like Wisconsin, what would they like to do in the summertime? So I went and I looked up the top 10 things to do in Iceland in the summertime.
Do they ever have summer?
Actually, Iceland is not Greenland, and Greenland is not Iceland. Okay.
Oh, the icy versus the green.
However, I did find out that the average temperature in Iceland during the summer is 50 degrees.
That's not summer.
And the record high for summer in Iceland
of like all time ever recorded
is 68.
Whoa. Heat wave. My goodness.
So it got me thinking, what do they do in the summertime for fun? Okay, so here we go.
They go to other places that actually have a summer.
No, those people would die. That's too hot. Okay, it's like us going to Florida in the spring. Okay, seriously, we do that. We have a spring tour in Florida. I've done it for 3-4 years now, and it's booked out. It's filled up. By the way, if you're listening to this in Florida, think about us coming down and booking us in your church.
Shameless plug.
Yeah, next spring. We'll be calling about that, so call us before we call you. But that's like us from Wisconsin going down there. We're just getting out of the 20s and 30s, and all of a sudden we're sitting on a beach at 80 degrees in Florida. It's like, oh, this is miserably hot. So here you go. The top, I'm not going to do the full top 10, but these were the top suggestions of things to do in Iceland during the summer. All right. Number 1, explore Iceland. And you had to see the picture. Let me paint this picture in your mind. There was this one lone Jeep driving down this 2-lane road, and in the background is nothing but ice-capped mountains. Explore Iceland in the summer. There's still ice. Okay. The second thing, go to swimming pools. Because number 1, it's too cold to get into the North Atlantic, so you're not going to go swimming there. And number 2, even their swimming pools in the summer are heated.
Oh, wait. Iceland has geothermal vents.
Yes, they do.
They do. Yes, it raises the water temperature. It would have to raise the water temperature a lot, though. I mean,
yeah. Kid. Let's go swimming. It's nice out. Number 3, going camping. And this picture was great. It shows this guy. It's a picture from his perspective. So all you see are his legs on down looking out the front of his tent. That's how he took the picture. And he's sleeping in a tent in Iceland. If you pay close attention to the pants that he's wearing, they're Carhartts.
Got that right. And his sleeping bag is like one of those Sub-Zero ones that like completely wraps you up.
No. He's on top of it. It's totally cool. It is Carhartts.
It's totally cool. Like completely.
The other thing is visit glaciers.
I'm sensing an ice theme.
Yes.
Throughout Iceland.
During the summer.
Yeah.
During the summer. Go puffin watching.
That's a kind of bird. For those of you who may not know.
We're not talking about people smoking. We're
go puffin watching.
Puffin watching, yes.
Puffin watching.
Yes, they have the largest population of puffin. And for those of you who don't know, puffin, they're kind of a duck penguin kind of a mix. They have the really bright colored bill.
Say like a parrot penguin mix.
Yeah, okay.
Parrot penguin.
But they do have they have the web feet.
Can they fly? Can't they fly?
I don't know. They look so much like penguin. And last but not least, in this place that averages 50 degrees, enjoy the hot springs.
This better be really hot springs.
Remember, they have the vents up there. So, yes, their hot springs can be very, very hot. Well, speaking of enjoying something, I'm reaching the bottom of my cup. How you doing over there, bro?
I'm doing pretty good.
All right. So, I'm going to need a refill. So, this is a great time to take a break. Let's refill on our coffee. Cups up, everybody. And come on back after you get your refill because you're listening to the B. Andrews Radio Show. See you in a minute. Well, there's a guy I know, so let's call him Joe, because he's a real good friend. He wants to start a fight when things aren't right in this world that we're living in. So it says to him, Joe, I know that you know that fighting never pays. So instead of a fight when things aren't right, why don't you start with a chord of praise? Na, 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 na. Sing the chord of praise. Na, 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 na. Sing the chord of praise. There is a simple truth that folks don't understand. Everything that happens in our lives comes from God's own hand. Everybody has a choice that they can make every day. You can choose to ignore what comes from God or sing the chord of praise. Now it occurred to me how things might be when this world comes to an end. It won't be long till we're all gone and standing up in heaven, and then we'll have no fear when we get there, 'cause with the angels we will raise to my Lord a song that starts with this chord, a song that starts with the chord of praise. Sing the chord of praise. Sing the chord of praise. Sing the chord of praise. Welcome back to the suffocating studios of B. Andrews. This is the B. Andrews Radio Show. I'm your co-host, Eric, and our other co-host, John, is across the room. And it's so good to have you here. By the way, we do want to ask you, share the show around. I know it's talk radio. Not everybody's into talk radio. However, it is the most popular format of radio that is out there today. So we're just throwing our hat into the ring and talking about good stuff like today, talking about summertime, the things that you can do in the summer. We talked about the camping, talked about canoeing, talked about if you're too hot here, you can always go vacation in Iceland where you can cool off. Or if you want to stay American with that, I guess it would be the equivalent as getting up into northern Alaska and go seeing the great glaciers up there in Alaska. Take a cruise in Alaska, go through the Bering Straits and feel the real cool breezes up there. You're just wagging your head. Nobody can hear you, man.
Man, if I'm taking a cruise, I'm going somewhere south. I'm far enough north the way it is. We have winter and cold enough of the year round that it's just like, if I get a chance, man, I'm heading to warmer waters.
But it's when.
That's happening.
It's when you head to warmer waters. You're supposed to do it when we have snow on the ground.
Yeah, but when it gets cold here, it's even colder up north. So why would I continue to go north?
I only said go up there during the summer in case you enjoy.
But when it's summer, I have to enjoy while it's still going to be warm, because if I go somewhere cold, by the time I get back here, it's going to be winter again. It's going to be cold here.
There's just ain't no talking to you. But, what makes, the things that happen during the summertime, like when John and I were talking about the canoeing, and you do those things, you get out there, you have fun in the summertime, you take your kids with you. The thing that happens, or turn your kids loose to some of the things that are happening in your youth group, and when they're doing stuff like right now, we're doing backyard Bible camp, what we call BYBC at our local church. Some of you may call it a vacation Bible school, but this year we've done something a little different. We invited the teens in, and we're doing a youth track. We're using quite a few of the teens for the ministry. We're doing puppet ministry, actually shadow puppets. So there's quite a bit more to it than just, putting your hand in a doll and sticking it up over a wall. The shadows, the work that goes along with that. We're writing the stories that go along with it. The kids are the teens, we got some teens that are heavily involved in that ministry. But then when it comes to that one point in time where it's like, okay, little kids are doing this, we have a whole nother track for the big kids. And a shout out to our youth workers, Barry and Michelle West, taking it on. And they're just getting the kids plugged in. Had 16 teens with us last night. That is massive when you think 2 years ago, how many teens did we have? Let's see, the big goose egg. 0. We had nothing going on as far as a youth ministry. So we just kind of thank God for that. But yeah, it's turning the kids loose and making memories. Last night, John, Ben, used to be in our band, and John's twin, and little girl. We had the kids' what would you say, activity game that I had for the kids last night was eating donuts off of a string without using your hands.
Yeah, that was harder than I thought it would be. And it was not even big donuts. It was like little donuts?
Little tiny donuts, because we had smaller kids that was doing it. So it was part of their snack. Everybody got a donut before they got the rest of their snack time last night. But what was great is that we all did it, and all of a sudden this one little girl comes out of the woodwork, and after everybody had the race against everybody, she goes, I didn't get to do it. And so like, oh, well, we need somebody to race against her. So John, Ben jump up. They go, we'll do it. So we tie these donuts on a string.
I probably shouldn't admit that I just kind of wanted a donut, right?
Yeah. Did you just admit that to everybody listening?
I mean, no.
Okay. And so here's
girl,
here's this little girl, and what she's 6, 7 years old, something of that nature. And I got two 20-year-old dudes, and I'm like, oh, this isn't going to be a race. So I tried pumping her up really good. I'm like, okay, you think you can outdo these guys? I mean, look, grown men, beards. You think you can outdo these guys? And she's like, yeah, I could beat them. I'm like, okay, hands behind your back. 1, 2, 3, go. And it was hilarious. The two guys can't even get it started, and this girl goes to take a little bite. Her donut swings over, smacks Ben in the chest, and she is so smart. She pins it against him, boom, right there, and just gobbled it. She comes away, and there's this it was a powdered donut, a big white ring on his chest. Where she did, and you guys didn't even take a bite yet.
Yes, it should probably be noted that I was actually trying.
You two got smoked by a 6-year-old. Oh, it was great.
Yeah, we got it.
Anyway,
moving on.
Memories.
To something else.
When you guys when we all do things like this with our kids in the summertime, it brings about memories. Here's one, fishing with your dad. I can still remember just countless times of my dad taking me fishing and how important that was, he and I. Now, I'm not so sure that, he was really trying to pass a lot of stuff onto me as much as he wanted to go fishing and he needed to take me along. Because, I had my one rod and reel, I had my bobber, and I'd fish off the top, and I'd just be playing around for bluegill because I'd be bored. And him, he's serious fishing, 3 reels in, all of them with a type of a fishing trap on them, fishing off the bottom, and, that's what he's doing. He wants that elusive, massive catfish or that big perch.
It should probably be noted this is further down south.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget the time that we're out at this one little tiny lake, and it's in northern Kentucky. It's called Big Bone Lake, and we were at this little tiny lake outside of the campgrounds, and we're fishing, and he's got 3 reels in. It's in the middle of the afternoon. I got my little bobber, and I throw it in, and I'm just trying to catch the bluegill off the top, and all of a sudden, my bobber just slowly goes up down. Now, most of the time, when that bobber slowly sinks down into the water, I've come to find out over the years that usually means turtle. And I'm like, oh, great, I got a turtle. And I start reeling it in, but I never had a turtle swish back and forth before. And I'm like, whoa, what is... And I pull up, and I have got this 7-pound channel cat that I caught. I mean, it is so long. It is so big. It is so huge. To this day, I have never caught a fish that big before, and I have never caught a fish that big since. It was just huge. Took him home. We ate that puppy. We ate that puppy. I helped clean that guy. Of course, that's your job. If you catch it, you clean it.
I bet Grandpa was a little bit jealous.
That's what I'm getting at. You know, out of all the times we went fishing, he's the master fisherman. He catches the big fish, but when I reeled at it, he hadn't gotten a bite all day. Didn't end up getting a bite all day. And so I'm going home, and I got this big 7-pound channel cat. It's like, look what I caught. Yeah. What'd you get, Dad? Shut up. I wasn't trying to rub it in his face, but I will tell you this. He was just as proud that I caught that as I was. And maybe even more so because, I don't know, I just kept getting at, yeah, he caught it off of a bobber off the top. I don't know how in the world he did that. But he caught it. He reeled it in with a bobber off the top. You know, he just always had to follow it up with that phrase.
That's disbelief.
To the guy that had 3 reels in fishing off of a bottom, I caught a bottom dweller off the top. So, hey, you know, it was really cool. Good times.
That's funny.
Absolutely good times. So things that you could do in the middle of summer. And some of those things you could do are building projects. John had a run-in up at the store the other day, but it has nothing to do with building, and it has nothing to do with a building project or kind of a summertime thing, but it was just this odd, weird running into people kind of deal. You're a twin.
Yeah, I'm a twin.
Okay.
I had to pick up some stuff for washing windows,
But
right?
you are not an identical twin.
I'm not an identical.
You are a fraternal twin.
Exactly. For those of you who don't know what that means, it means I don't look like my twin that much. He just looks like one of my brothers, right?
Right.
So, like, I go in and I meet some identical twins, right? But it's the way I meet them. So I go walking in, and I had to go to the information station, right? So I walk up there.
Information station?
I like to speak with, rhyme
authority. I got you.
and stuff. So I go up there, and I'm like, hey, man, where am I going to find this? Where am I going to find, like, a squeegee and stuff to wash windows with? He's like, oh, we probably need to go over to plumbing, right? Need to go over to plumbing, and back there with the mops and stuff. I'm like, okay, cool. So I went walking back to plumbing. Well, I didn't see where he was talking about, and I'm walking down the aisle. I thought he mentioned an aisle number, and I'm looking at the aisle numbers, and I thought he said 155, and nowhere.
155?
That's what I thought he said.
That is a huge store.
I know, and then I'm like, well, maybe he just said 55, but we were nowhere close to 55. And so as I'm walking down the hall, I see another information station there. So I round the corner, and there standing at the information desk in plumbing, it's the same dude. And I'm like,
wow, he's fast.
I was wondering. I have this stupid look on my face like, pretty sure I just talked to you, and you were way back there. And I'm wondering, like, is someone punking me or something? Like, did he literally run all the way across the store because he knew I was coming to plumbing? And I'm like, the guy's like, hey, man, can I help you with something? I'm like, I got nothing. I'm just like, I was so distracted because I'm like, you screwing with me, man? I'm like, I'm looking for like squeegee for washing windows and stuff. Oh, that's going to be like over next to the mops and stuff.
Oh,
like,
so he's going to send you back across the same
No, but he's like, it's going to be over next to the mops and stuff. I'm like, and I'm so distracted because I'm just like staring at him. I'm like, can you just point me to it? And he's like, yeah, it's back over there. I'm like, okay, cool. Okay. And I kind of walk away, and I'm super suspicious now. And I'm like, something's screwy going on. So I walk back to the mops, so I take a look, and I find what I need. So I have to run over to use the restroom before I leave the store, and I come back out, and lo and behold, it's the same dude standing there. And I come walking up to him, and he's like, hey, man.
He's stalking you?
Dude. He's like, hey, man, did you find what you need in plumbing? And I'm like,
Oh, the jig is up.
Do you by any chance have a twin brother that works here? Oh, yeah, I do. Yeah, he works over in plumbing.
Oh!
It's like,
yeah, you were totally being punked.
And he's like, yeah, we get that a lot. People, see us around the store and stuff. And I was like, man, you had me going,
it was
man.
a total setup.
I was so screwed up.
It was a total setup. So, anyway, lots of good stories happening out there. Lots of things happening in the summertime. Are you spending a lot of time at the hardware store? That means you got a building project going on. I feel sorry for you. No.
If it feels like this outside, I do.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, going to need another refill. We're going to tap it off. We're going to talk a little bit more about summertime, but I think we're going to have some good news.
I think we have some good news.
Yeah, we're starting a segment called Good News, and because we got plenty of bad news out there. So let's go get our refills. Come on back, and we're going to talk about good news. So you're listening to the B. Andrews Radio Show. See you in a few.
Just have to praise him when things aren't right. When your cares and worries are crowding around, try lifting them up when life gets you down. Well, I know you've been there, I've been there too. So you might as well admit that it gets to you. So when this old world is taking its toll, remember God prepaid, you're free to go. So here we
Hey, if you want to be a part of the show, connect with us on Twitter at @BAndrewsBand, all lowercase, BANDREWSBAND, or IM us at Facebook by going to B. Andrews. That's first name B, B-E, last name Andrews, ANDREWS. And welcome back to the final segment of the B. Andrews Radio Show. And, if you want to make a comment, by the way, please be sure to connect with us on Facebook. And if you want to join in on the conversation each week, we also have a poll let me start over. If you want to connect with us on Facebook, that would be awesome. And leave us a comment or two. And if you want to participate in the weekly poll that we put on our B. Andrews Radio Show Facebook page or in the group there, be sure to participate in that and leave a comment there and check out the latest poll that happens there. So we were talking about having some good news, and it just really, we've got to get to sharing good news. One of the missions of the B. Andrews Radio Show is to help people to tune out the negativity, the nastiness, the constant volatility that is on regular talk radio nowadays. You hear the name Trump like 10,000 times in a day. If you
can't say that here.
I'm sorry. What is Trump backwards? Punt? Whatever. Anyway, I can't do it. Yeah, you can't even say it. So anyway, and it's not that I'm anti-Trump. It's not that I'm pro-Trump. That's not the point. It's just that's it. It's constant negativity. This is good. That's bad. That's bad. That's bad. So you know what? We're throwing our voice in and say, let's talk about something that's a little bit different. And we got to thinking, why don't we throw some good news in there? Just to kind of, the way that the news media is working, this isn't even a political story. There was a guy that went to take a picture. This is currently on Yahoo News. So if you're anywhere around Yahoo News on July the 8th, you can look this up just to make sure that I'm telling the truth here. But I was on Yahoo News this morning doing a little bit of research for the show. This guy takes a picture. He's in a foreign country. The major city is in behind him. And so he wants to get a panoramic view. And so he takes a picture of himself with his girlfriend in the picture. Her head is on his shoulder, and his iCamera, whatever iPhone, is taking the panoramic view of it. And right in the middle of the picture, she has to sneeze. And so when she does, she moves. And the picture, to get the panoramic view, the camera takes several shots, and then while you have to hold still during those shots, and if you don't, it literally will take a secondary shot of you while you're moving, and it will distort you. In her case, when you look at the whole thing, it looks like she has two heads on her shoulders.
I've seen the picture. It looks pretty funny.
It does. I mean, she's a nice looking gal. He's a good looking dude. And it's a beautiful couple. And she's supposed to have her head on. So one head is on his shoulder for the beautiful picture, and the other head is turned the other direction with that kind of look on its face.
What was that?
It kind of look on its face.
Definitely translated on radio.
I'm sorry. I'm making the face. You can't see what I'm doing. I'm making the face that she's making. And that's...
Here. You know that constipated look when you sneeze?
That's the look. Okay? And that's what the other head is doing.
You have to use your words.
I'm sorry. But that's what the other head is looking like. But here is the title of the article. It says... A beautiful couple turns picture into evil, or statement of evil, or it had evil in it.
Wait, I think I had that here.
Do you have the exact headline? Because if he's got the exact headline, I mean, you've got it picture. I can't think of what it's called. It turns it into something of evil. It's terrible.
It's not here anymore. It was just like right up on the main news feed.
Probably got taken down because it's so terrible. I mean, it when you look at it, it's like it's nothing of evil. There's nothing evil to it. Oh yeah, so
I don't know.
It's a funny picture of a two-headed girl, but and the one head is pretty sour looking, but anyway, it's funny. It's absolutely hilarious. But for Yahoo, maybe the whole idea was just to get me to look and to read the article. Made me curious. This guy takes a simple selfie and it turns into pure evil. It's written something like that. So, you know what? Now for our section of a little good news. And for that, I turned this segment over to John. John, share with us a little good news.
Okay. So from USA Today, beachgoers form an 80-person human chain to save family.
Awesome.
Yeah, seriously. So Florida beachgoers banded together Saturday to save a family from drowning. Roberta Ursi and her family were at Panama City Beach when she noticed her sons were too far from shore. The Panama City News-Herald reported, the boys were screaming, so Ursi and her relatives swam to them but became trapped in a rip current.
Well, that's the one that sucks out, right?
Correct. Yeah. So
they can't get back to shore.
Correct, because the current is literally just pushing them out to sea, so they can't swim against it. So according to the City News-Herald, 9 people were trapped in 15 feet of water. I honestly thought I was going to lose my family that day, Ursi said. It was like, oh my God, this is how I'm going. Thankfully, beachgoers noticed the family struggling and banded together to form an 80-person human chain, AP reported. Starting with the children, the rescuers tugged the swimmers along the human chain and pulled them back to shore, the newspaper reported. I am so grateful, Ursi told the Panama City News-Herald. These people were God's angels that were in the right place at the right time. I owe my life and my family's life to them. Without them, we wouldn't be here.
So a big old salute, Panama City, Florida. Way to go, people. Human beings, there you go. People can see a need, and when people see a need, it still does happen in America that just out of the goodness of their heart, a stranger will come to the aid of other people. That's fantastic.
It is.
That is an awesome story. So you see, there still are people out there that turn off the radio, quit listening to all the hate junk, and go, there's a human being that needs some help. Go help them. Well, we're going to take a little break. I'm going to catch my composure after that story. No, seriously, that really warmed my heart, and we're going to take a little break, and we'll come right back, and we're going to sum up the show. So you're listening to the B. Andrews Radio Show. Thanks for tuning in. God bless you. We'll be right back.
sing your name. And I bring you praise. Don't give the rocks a chance. Don't give the rocks a chance. Come on, let's sing and dance. Capture the rapture alone. Lost in the spirit, sweetest sound. To you, our God and King. All the praise will bring. Lifting up our voices to sing. Love for our God.
Welcome back to the final few minutes here of the B. Andrews Radio Show. And as we just come through that last story that John shared, I hope the thing that you grab from it is that there were people, 80 on this particular beach, that saw a need. Wasn't just one, wasn't just a few. When you start thinking that it took 80 people to make that human chain, and 80 people on that beach jumped in that chain and stretched themselves out into the ocean, hanging against each other, and literally the 9 family members that were out there struggling. 15? Okay, 15 family members that were out there struggling against that riptide, wearing themselves out, possibly going to drown, grabs a hold of them and pulls themselves in. 80 people had to put themselves out at one time. 80 people.
And they had to extend themselves in the riptide, too, to do it.
In order to get out to where they were. Yeah, and that's absolutely fantastic. The point that we would like to make is if you see another human being that is in need, we are the people that make the difference. Those that see others that are in need, we're the ones that make a difference in this world. And listen up, those that we call ourselves Christians, that's how people see Jesus Christ in this world. When there is a great need and a hand comes in and helps them, that's one way that we can show Christ. So be that person. Make the difference in another person's life. Sometimes it's one-on-one. Sometimes you got to jump in with another group of people. And the absolute thing that I pulled out of this is they had to put themselves out in order to do it. Reaching out to other people, yeah, we're going to have to put ourselves out to do it. But you know what? That's awesome. And God will bless you for it. I am a firm believer in that. Well, that wraps up all that we have for today's show. And I have a big favor to ask. Could you share our show with somebody else? If you found this to be a blessing to you, you got a laugh out of it or something of that nature, would you just share it with somebody? Post it on a bunch of pages on Facebook and say, hey, you got to listen to these guys. This is good stuff, and we believe that's what we're bringing to you. It's something that's positive. It's something that's different. We're here, a new show every Tuesday, so you can look us up on Tuesdays, download the show, listen to it whenever you want. It's out there for a whole week for you to get a hold of for your personal edification. And that is the B. Andrews Radio Show. Well, thanks for having us in. Thank you for listening. I can't begin to tell you how much we really appreciate it. God bless, and see you next week.